Welcome to Show Jumping 101 with Joanne Sloan-Allen and Sameh Elderham. In this episode, Joanne and Sameh are joined by Belle Palmer, founder of Aster Bits, to talk about one of the most important and often misunderstood pieces of equipment in the horse's tack, the bit. With a background in producing young horses, equine dentistry and bit fitting, Belle brings a unique insight into how the horse's mouth works, why comfort matters, and how the right bit can help create a better, softer and more trusting contact. Joanne and Sameh also share their first-hand experiences of using Aster Bits on different horses, from young and sensitive types to stronger competition horses, discussing materials, mouthpieces, cheek pieces, and the importance of always putting the horse's comfort first.
Basically, I have worked my whole career in the equestrian industry. So I spent a lot of time training and developing young horses before I moved into equine dentistry. And right at the beginning of my career in dentistry, I got really interested in bitting as well, because obviously when you've got your head in mouths all day, you see a lot of trauma inside the mouth. And so then, that sparked a real interest in me as to how to, help protect the horse's mouth, because it is such a delicate area and it takes so much force when ridden. So I've worked with a lot of different bit brands and fitting bits, but I was just finding that there was a space that wasn't being filled, and there was a lot of noise because there's so many new bits out there, and people don't know what to choose, what to put in their horse's mouth. They really don't. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just make my own, and I'll make them to the designs that I want, and make them to fit the majority of horses' mouths without causing any damage or hitting any of the delicate structures. So that's how Aster came about.
I mean, we've now just got some of the bits that Sam and I have been playing around with our horses. The first comment we both had was how well made they were.
Yeah. They're very good quality bits.
I mean, they're so even to hold them, they're so
Thank
nice.
you.
But
Yeah.
it's like I have them there in my hand, and we're going to go through. We think it would be really helpful actually if we go through each one, and just for anybody, my horse does this, blah blah blah. We've tried them now today, especially we were on different horses, and we've been trying different ones, which is actually good. Sam can speak as well about the ones that he's been using, the type of the horse. But just initially the materials. I mean, how did you come about the different materials? What was because I see that they're all different. Some of them seem to be, is it titanium?
Yeah, so we have three main materials. We've got sweet iron, which most people know about sweet iron. So it it oxidizes basically. So it gives us a sweet, rusty taste. So it helps the younger horses to accept the contact, salivate, all that sort of thing, keep the jaw moving, which you want. And then the golden copper is a more neutral taste, but it's still nice and warm, and it is another soft metal.
I really like that. Yeah, you put it in your hand and it feels so warm.
Yeah, it's almost like it melts into your hand.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's like a buttery feeling. You can imagine it's going to be really nice.
Exactly.
And then the other one is is that the titanium? That's like a blue color.
No,
yeah, so the other one is titanium, and it is a very strong but very lightweight metal. It's got a very neutral taste, and again, it's warm. But it's just it's for the more sensitive horse. It's brilliant because it is just much more lightweight. There's a lot less pressure in the mouth.
I must say, initially, our first impressions of the bits and genuine, isn't that right, Sam?
Yes. Am I right that they're also different shapes, like different anatomy, if I can say that? They're not like your normal original bits form. Some of them are a little bit different. Am I right to say something like that?
Yes. Yeah, they're all our own designs that we've made basically to curve around the mouth. And you'll see in our bits, the middle joints, or any of the joints are generally very smooth.
Yes.
Yeah, and the middle joints are very narrow because people don't realize how narrow the lower jaw actually is and the bars where they sit under the tongue. A lot of traditional joints are very wide, and they do rub over this area and create bone spurs and even, splinter off little bits of bone. So that's why all of the middle joints are smooth and narrow like that.
I mean, like that's something that we both noticed straight away. And then for us especially, so I have a new horse that I just got, and we're very, by the way, we're very into the horses dentistry care here. We have a really good dentist that we work with for a long time. And I must say, it made us realize how important it is that the horses' mouths are comfortable. I mean, we've seen so many horses that we've got, and straight away after their dentistry has been fixed, the difference in the horse is incredible.
Like you normally would have a normal of a 6 months routine checkup, but actually some horses do them every 3 months.
Yeah, we do ours every 3
What
months.
I like to hear. Yeah. Especially the young ones, they need doing.
Yeah.
If they're in training, sometimes as often as every 2 months.
Yeah, we do. We every 3
That's
months.
what I was saying. Like normally in any stables, they will have definitely like obviously professional stable, they have a 6 months protocol, but we found that some horses need checked even sooner.
Yeah.
That's why now we do it every 3 months or whatever.
Yeah.
So
And actually what Alex, our dentist, says is that he finds, because our horses are so healthy and they're being well fed, supplements and everything like that, they grow their teeth much quicker than even you would normally see. It's their feet, and he can come back in 3 months and he'd be like, wow, I'm really glad I came back because there's so much growth.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of horses as well, when they're stabled, and they're eating a lot of hard feed, their teeth do get sharper quicker as well.
Yeah.
Because they're not out grazing on longer pasture. So their jaw doesn't sweep as wide as it's naturally meant to. So that produces the sharper edges quicker. And also with the younger horses, their teeth are actually softer. So they don't harden up until they're around 5, 6.
Okay.
And then you can start spreading their dentals out.
That's interesting as well. We find, actually, I don't know, more than recently, we've had more and more horses that have had chipped teeth from stones in the hay and haylage. I don't know why that's happening, but we've had quite a few with that.
Especially your mares.
Well, it seems to be my horses. The horses just seem to like eat stones.
Find the stone in the feet.
Yeah, and they've had a lot of chipped teeth. And that makes such a difference. As riders, obviously, we're very, I hope, in tune with the horses. And me especially, I can just feel something's off.
Oh, you're like definitely in tune. You're too much in tune.
Yeah, I'm a witch. Nice, so I'll just say.
I don't want to say that.
Get out there. But so I really notice, and for me, the mouth is so important.
100%, because it's not just during the work as well. So if you've got a mouth ulcer or anything like that in your mouth, it will throb and it will pulse and it will hurt all the time, and you'll just be in a constant state of stress because of it until it's gone.
You can imagine yourself if you have an ulcer in your mouth. It's so annoying and it's throbbing all the time. So
and horses eat continuously all day long, so they're continuously feeling that pain.
It's honestly, when you really start going into everything with the horses, you just feel to yourself, what, again, every day we're reminded what kind creatures they are, because they're so soft. Like that, the new horse of mine, the dentist said that when he put his hand in the other night, he said that he had so many ulcers in his top teeth, around the gums. And he's like, and I'm like, oh my God, and he's such a sweet, kind horse. And I'm like, what he has been tolerating and putting up with. And it was so funny because as I get back to what I was saying, because when you get a new horse, you don't really know them, so you try the simplest bit to start with. And I had your the golden one. What did you call it?
Single jointed,
the contour.
Yes. I had that with me, so I put that in him, and it was so funny. Straight away, he was like, "Oh, I really like this," and I was like, okay, maybe that's a coincidence. And I tried another just normal Snapple in him, And he was like, and I changed back into it. I was like, no, he really likes this. And I actually jumped him in it, just a simple snaffle. And he'd been in a hackamore. He'd been in quite big bridles.
Not big
Yeah.
necessarily big bridles, but obviously he wasn't, because obviously his previous rider was changing all the time to try to get the right connection.
Yeah.
But with that,
I was really lucky straight
you
away.
have the right connection.
And I was like, wow, this is amazing. But straight away he loved it. And
Well, it's a bit,
you know,
it's a bit like me with the what you call the clarity bit. It's like a loose ring, double jointed, sweet iron, is it?
Yeah.
Belle? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like to ride my horses normally at home in a normal snaffle anyway. And when those bits arrived, I was chatting to Joanne, and she said, I want to try this bit on my new horse. So I actually stole it for her, and I went and put it on my mare, which is a very sensitive mare, and I call her quite opinionated. She'll tell you straight away if she doesn't like something. And I must say I have a great feeling with it. Like, I normally in the competition I would ride her in like a combination bit or a pelham or something like that. But I'm excited actually to try just to try her in that loose ring in the competition as well, because she felt so relaxed, taking the contact in a nice way. The neck is long, so I really love the feeling of it. So credit to you, because it's a mare that I always struggle to find something that she likes and comfortable in. So I'm hoping that's the way forward.
So the technical design of that particular bit, Belle, would you mind to chat us through that? So how does that work? And Sam's mare is, as I say, blood, bit strong, bit opinionated. What type of horse did you design that for? So that's the clarity loose ring, single jointed.
No, it's a double joint.
Double jointed.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me, first of all, I'll just say that makes me really happy to hear that, you know, you've been able to step her back in gear and she's become more comfortable, and as a result is working better, because that's, you know, how I bit every horse is I try and strip it back.
Yeah.
And most of the horses are stepping down to, you know, much gentler bits, because what I want to do is I want to create a comfortable space so that they work into their natural frame instead of having to be, you know, forced into any position. And yeah, generally they're very happy for it. So the clarity is, it's the more forward bending single joint. So it's built for a horse that understands the aids. So it can understand a more refined aid, if that makes sense. So
an older horse as opposed to a greener, younger horse then?
yeah, so basically we've created a system, and it's up on the website, and it's to make it really easy for you to find the right bit for your horse. So every horse learns the contact the same way. They learn the pressure points on the tongue, bars, the lips, and then they need to learn to trust that. So that's why a lot of our bits in the foundation range have a slight locking mechanism so that it prevents any overclaps of the bit. So it stays really nice, really stable, and the horse can go to it. So once the horse has learnt to go into the contact, then they move up into the core range, and there's a little bit more movement in that, and they can learn, you know, a little bit more adjustability, and then when they can move up into clarity. So the refinement range, which has clarity in it. So
the core range, which one is that then?
Foundation range, you mean?
Yeah, so no, you have the first one that you talked about with the slight lock-in, and then they move into the next one. So which of our bits would that be then? Because we have a selection sitting here in front of us. So
yes,
which one?
so in core you'll find the contour, you'll find the gentle curve.
That's the one I was using then, is the contour one on my horse.
Yeah, that's it. And then the confidence universals are in there as well. So it's just about introducing a little bit more movement in the bit. So with each stage, there's a little bit more movement in the mouthpiece and the cheek piece.
Okay. And if you had a horse that was quite, so say you've different types of horses. Some are they're nearly too light in their mouth. So you would
Yes.
suggest then the more of a locking type for that, or what would you suggest for that?
Well, generally, if a horse is too light in the mouth, it's because they don't trust to sit in the contact, basically. So whatever is in their mouth is too much.
Mhm.
So in those instances, I would say go back to foundation.
Yep.
And go into one of the locking mouthpieces so that they learn to sit forwards and into the contact. And then once they're doing that, if you feel you need to and you need a little bit more adjustability, then you can move back up to core.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. And then opposite of that, if you have one that just leans on your hand, what would you suggest for a horse that is always just very heavy in your hand? What sort of bits then would you have designed for that then? Because also you've got the loose ring. I haven't seen any fixed ring, but we have only the universal
Like an
ones.
egg butt or
Like an egg butt. Do you have any of those, or we just don't have them?
Yeah, we have a lot of those actually. In the foundation and the core mainly.
Which do you prefer? Like, I mean, because we've all the loose rings, which I like a loose ring, but do you think that for a really young one, do you find that the egg butts are better than the fixed ring or the loose ring, or what is your personal preference for those?
Yes, so for the young horses, I prefer a fulmer, a D, or an egg butt, anything
like a fulmer.
that adds the lateral guidance on the side of the mouth and stays more stable.
Yeah.
The loose ring is for a horse that has learnt the contact, and they can then introduce that little bit more mobility.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I like a D-ring, I have to say as well. Like my grumpy horse on the flat, I would always ride him in a D-ring, double jointed snaffle as well. So I like a D-ring, and I feel what you're saying as well. It's just it guides them to stay a bit more straight and helps on the turns and everything like that. So
And explain to me then, because Ariel, her good mare Candice, she rides her at the minute in a straight bar with a port Kimblewick. You have a really nice bit that to me is like a Kimblewick.
butterfly.
Is it a butterfly? No, it's got 3 pieces on it.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah.
What would you
The
call
one
a
that you
butter?
sent me, what is that bit called?
Well, we call it the Kimberwick because it's got your adjustable leverage points.
Yeah, that's what I
without
thought.
without it being a pelham. So yeah, we call it a Kimberwick. So the other thing with Aster is if we're having a Kimberwick side, we make sure that the mouthpiece is soft enough to go with that side. So we won't make anything that's going to create huge amounts of leverage or huge pressure points anywhere inside the mouth. And vice versa. So, if a young horse needs a little bit more movement on the side, then we make sure we keep it a lot stiller on the mouthpiece.
And explain to me basically how the Kimblewick works. How does the action of a Kimble work? Just for people, because obviously on these podcasts we would try to be really informative, and people are going to be, my horse does this, my horse does that. So for you, and Ariel's mare is a big mare, he's quite small, and she's a big mare. She's got a lot of canter, and we just find that the Kimblewick helps Ari able to, manage her without having to put like a lot of reins and stuff on her. What's the idea behind the Kimblewick then, and especially with your mouthpiece? Can you talk us through the
Yeah, well, exactly.
Lovely.
So, basically, with your Kimberwicks, Pelhams, Universal, anything with a different side other than the snaffle, what you're essentially doing is just changing the action of that mouthpiece. So generally, if I'm bitting a horse, we find what it likes on the flat, and then if it still needs a bit more adjustability when it's jumping, then we just change the cheek pieces to either lift or lower the mouthpiece. The Kimberwick will create sort of a pressure point with the curb chain to lower the pole and then lift the bit slightly in the mouth. So the head will come backwards, and as a result, the horse can come back on their hocks. And it's just achieving what you want to achieve, but with a lot lighter aid. So you don't
And
have
you
to
always
put
have to
much
use a
pressure in
chain
the
with
mouth.
the Kimberwick then. It's a bit that's always got the chain to keep it still.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just to create that pressure point against the jaw.
Okay. And how is the action of the Kimberwick different from the universal, say?
So a universal, again, it depends completely on the mouthpiece of what action it's going to have on the horse. But essentially, the universal ring rotates so that the mouthpiece lifts up towards the lips.
Okay.
So if you want more of a lifting, pick your horse up
So it
sort of
lifts the head a
action.
bit higher compared
Yeah.
to the Kimberwick, which brings the
Whereas
neck or the poll a bit lower.
it brings it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pole down, nose in.
So a horse
is the
that would
Kimberwick.
have a higher head carriage,
Yeah.
would you put that in then, the Kimberwick or the universal?
I would use the Kimberwick.
Okay.
And if a horse has a
Lower one that you want to lift it up a bit, it's maybe a bit what we
Yeah.
heavy in our hand.
downward balance, yeah.
That would be the
Exactly.
universal.
Yeah, and it just helps to encourage them to pick up through the shoulder. Whereas if you were to ride that same horse in a loose string snaffle, you're going to have to put a lot more pressure on its mouth to get the same reaction. So when you move into the universal, it's just going to rotate and lift up on the lips. It's not going to put any more pressure on the bars or the tongue. It's just going to lift up on the lips, and then that will help the horse to lift his shoulders.
And I actually like the way your universal is made. The fact that the top ring that goes onto the cheek piece is kind of like it's blended. It sits separately, if you can see what I mean there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most of them are like one piece, and I find that they can rub the horses. This is really nice, the way it just holds it away from the horse's mouth.
Exactly. Yes.
I assume that's why it was designed in that way, that you can put pressure on the corners then.
Yes, exactly. And it doesn't slide side to side as much. The other universal you'll see, which you've got in the lift with the roller, that's got the little sides. So we call that the balance cheek.
Yeah.
And all that does is help to keep the mouthpiece more central in the mouth and more stable. So for a horse that can be a bit wobbly or still a bit green, I prefer to use that universal, because it adds that little bit of lateral guidance as well. So it just helps the horse feel more supported. Like the contact's not going to change too much.
Yeah. So it's almost like a filmer, but it has the universal as well then.
Like a full cheek, yeah, but it's not a full cheek.
And then tell me, we have the little bit guard that came with that. You put those between the little bar and the outside bit, or does it go where the bar is? Because that's actually, I was wondering that when I was fitting those.
Maybe.
It goes inside the bar.
Yeah. So
between
next
the cheek
to the
and
lip.
Yeah.
Next to the lip. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether that was between, the bar went to the lip or that bit, because I was looking at it and I was like, I think it looks better the way we have it, but I wasn't sure that maybe it was.
Yeah, so they're designed to sit next to the skin just in case the metal creates any friction. Generally they don't, but you do get the odd horse who might
get the sensitive one, because I actually also nowadays just put a mouth guard on most horses, just in case, because you can get a bit of a heat on a hot day, and they can do a little bit of rub for no reason. So I just safety is better.
But I like the material for your bit guards. Even the material is different. Is that what is that made of? Because it doesn't seem to be, some of the rubber ones do tend to stick to them as well. That's the only thing, especially
it's just a more a flexible, softer rubber, so that it can flex more with the horse.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not as sticky as some of them are quite sticky when you feel them. They're a bit thick and a bit sticky, and they went on really easy.
Yeah, they're flexible.
I like that. I think our staff will definitely like that. And tell me, that bit is that like a little Tom Thumb idea, that we have the ones got that little roller in it?
The universal with
the universal, the universal with the
bronze roller.
The bronze roller in the middle.
Yeah, so the roller helps to make the pressure on the tongue intermittent, so it just sort of flicks over the tongue, So it's just like a little reminder, hey, I'm here. Yeah, hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm here. Instead of just pressing down on the structures and sitting still. So for a horse that can tend to fix or sort of hold on all the tension in their jaw, just sort of rotates and goes, hey, move, relax.
Okay. And so although it looks quite severe, it's not then. So you could put that in a horse that was quite sensitive?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, because that's interesting as well, because sometimes when we look at a bit, you think, oh, that looks quite sharp. But I love the little roller with the copper. I suppose that will make them salivate more, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. And, a lot of people think that, their mouths should be clamped shut and dead still, but they need that movement to keep the tension, from accumulating up. It's got to be released,
Yeah.
So yeah, you want some movement in your jaw.
Yeah. And it's such a nice, but it looks so different because we also had this discussion. So we actually looked up the photographs on the site because I wasn't sure what way some of the bits you look at them and I'm like, what way does that go? So the aster goes to the right, isn't that right?
Yeah.
And then there's a little arrow and that goes back the way, that points back the way, yeah?
On the right hand side.
On the right hand side.
Yeah. So essentially the writing should be on the front of the bit, facing out.
Okay.
Towards
So
the nose.
and that's important to know because honestly, when you get a bit, we're like, what do we do with it? And it's like, I'm sure everybody is the same as us. And if you go to a tack shop, not every tack shop can explain to you what you do with the bit. So, and I'm
And
sure
there's so many bits also with so many variations nowadays. So it's important to know what way these bits go in. And again, like you were saying, go back and see what your horses are comfortable in. And then if you need a little bit more, you add a bit more, but always try to go back to normal first. And then from that, make up a decision about what you need in the competition or in the ring or while jumping. And so it's a good concept what you have. It's
exactly. And then go, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, go back to a softer bit in, the days when you're back in the school, you're back hacking.
Yeah.
As well. So if you need to step up, just step up in the ring and then step back down again.
Yeah, like I, as I said to you, like we sort of go through a process when we have a new horse in that's like one of the young ones starting off, or they always go on the most simple bridle that we can. And then okay, does this one need this or that? It's same as what you're talking. Does its head need to come up or down or, and I think people think there's a lot of mystery to bits. I think a lot of people are scared of bits. And, we find that a lot that people come up and ask us, don't they? My horse does this. What do you suggest?
I always say Joanne is the bit expert. Whenever somebody asks, I say, just go and speak to Joanne because she's the bit expert.
It's just, no, it's a feeling though, isn't it? Like when you've had different types of horses over the years, you think, I'll try this.
I believe a bit is a rider's thing, but you have to feel that the horses are also comfortable in it. And when I'm riding, like I said, we first of all, like some people ride the same horse with different bits and it works for all the riders, but it has to be comfortable in the horse's mouth. And that's why when I'm always riding, I keep asking myself the question, are they on the contact? Are they relaxed on the contact? Are they coming enough from behind? Are they running away? Is the bit too sharp? All these questions, go through my head almost every session just to be sure that that's, that horse that I'm riding, because I ride obviously different types and a lot of horses, is that horse comfortable in that type of bit or not? And like you say, then if you need something a bit more, you just go one step from what you already have at home on the flat and so on. So
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
And the way that I look at it is, you look at your horse. Is it traveling into the contact? That's the first question. Is it happy to travel forward? Is it going, into the bit? If it's not, and there's nothing wrong with its body or anything, well, then you've got to get the bit back into a more comfortable contact.
Yep.
And then from there, you're just basically changing the cheek pieces to get the action that you want. So if you need a little bit more adjustability, step up to the universal, and that sort of thing.
I think that's like, and it's to get that across to riders that maybe people at a lower level or just starting off.
It's kind of simplifying the process.
Yeah.
And it's like what
It's
you
like,
have.
it's not war. I mean, that piece of metal, if a horse really wants to run off with us, the horse is going to run off with us. That little piece of metal is really not going to stop it. You know,
Exactly.
and sometimes people think, oh yeah, and they come out and they've got all this stuff. Like Sam and I, sometimes we look and we go, oh my God, did you see that? The horse
Yeah.
literally has like the kitchen sink.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
No.
But listen,
you know,
at the end, it all depends also on the rider's hand and the rider's feeling with the horse.
Yes.
Because like I say, you can ride in a sharp bit, but your hands are very soft, so the horse
Yeah.
doesn't feel it. But you can ride in a soft bit with your hands swing, and so it all depends on the feeling of the rider on the horse and so on. And what I say about your concept is a cool concept from the aspects of it's simplifying a bit the process by having, for instance, a foundation range and then a core range that you can step up and down from it, especially when you're starting horses as well. You're giving them a bit that they can be comfortable on and trust it, and then you can go a little bit more from that if they're a bit strong in the ring, or a bit less from that if they're nice in the ring, and so on. So the concept you have, I think, is a very good
I'd love to see in every rider's tack room, like just one of each. You know, you start it in this, and then you go to this, and then possibly either the universal or the Kimblewick, and keep it simple. You know, like
Exactly.
it would just be so nice that people they. I would just love it so much if they actually step back and think about how sensitive a horse's mouth is.
It's the thought of stepping back is important, because again, like, you don't know everybody's horses, what are they like, but at least, and I had this conversation with some of the riders that I'm fond of, and the thought of always stepping back is important, because you're not just trying to go harder or harsher, or even with so many other, not just bits, like with boots and with saddles and this and that. You always in your head, if you step back and see if that works, that's already something that you're not always just trying.
But it's not a quick fix.
Yeah.
You know,
Stepping back, the thought of stepping back and doing it and starting there and then going from
Less
there
is
to
more.
ready.
Yeah.
It's already something. You know.
and training, you know,
Exactly.
horses, like, they're like us. I mean, it must take time to adapt to something new. So anybody who thinks that a bit is a miracle, you know, like you see it all the time. You go in the tack shop and it's like, yes, finally, I've got this. Put it in his mouth. Right, this is it. But actually, it's like everything. The horse needs to take time. Its body needs to develop. If you've been riding it one way, it doesn't just change its muscle structure overnight. So
that is important to take in consideration, because, like, even if an athlete, if a person went to the gym, they don't build muscles in 1 week. It takes ages for them to build a certain group of muscles. Horses' muscles are, I don't know how many times bigger than a normal person, so it takes even more time for them to build that. So it's just a matter of being patient, giving the horses time to develop, whether it's muscles, whether it's balance, whether it's whatever, just time. We give them time. It's not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in a week. It takes a long time.
And I think ours is the only sport, because the horse can't speak. Because you see, I would actually, I just saw the other day about the new shoes that Adidas had come up with for one of the marathon runners, and how it made him so much quicker. It's a complete new concept, one off, you know, whatever. So they've been developing all these layers, working with the athlete, getting feedback. He puts the shoes on, they can monitor everything.
I might try those.
Yes. But you look at our sport, and you know, you put the bridle in the mouth. We have one part of the equation, our feel, but you can't ask the horse, well, what do you think? You know what I mean?
You only feel it. That's what that's just the concept of, when you're riding, you have to be asking yourself all these questions, like Belle mentioned, whether, are they traveling? Are they taking the contact? Are they trusting your hands? Are they turning in balance? All these questions you have to always ask yourself. It's not just a one-off. Like, some days also horses are like us. They come out a little bit stiff and they're not traveling the same. But if it's a consistent thing, then you have to start thinking, okay, maybe I need to change something, and that's important.
But that's why I think it's amazing that nobody has actually come up with a range like Belle has, because you actually looked inside the mouth. I mean, for years, people have just been basically, oh yeah, we just put this bit of metal in their mouth, and nobody really thought.
It's such a major piece of the tack and the equipment, and it's so overlooked as well. So you know, there's just no real education around it for most riders. So, which does blow my mind, because if you know, if you're using the wrong thing and you create a problem inside the mouth unknowingly, then that problem creates a chain reaction through their whole body. And if you're then training on that, they're just going to develop, you know, these layers and layers of tension and dysfunction. So, and that's very hard to undo.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's I think the whole fact that a horse is like an ecosystem, the whole balance of the horse and everything, it's the same as the shoes. If you have one little bit wrong in the foot and the balance, the whole horse can be thrown off, and it's the same in the mouth.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
No, it's very small. Like it's nowadays, it's very small things that make a difference,
Yeah.
because everybody rides good mostly, and most of the horses now are so well bred and they're real athletes. So it's really, really tiny margins that make a difference. And like I said, for me as a rider, I always try to step back and see, are my horses comfortable? If they're not, what can I do to make them comfortable? And that's why we're always open between Joanne and myself and our team, is to try different things and see if it works. And if it works, we say it works. If it doesn't work, we also say it doesn't work. So that's, you know, I think that's important for professional riders to always be a bit outspoken about this, to explain to the larger population about little things make a difference. And, you know, we always have to put the horse's health and horse's condition and horse's mental state first.
So I
That's
think
right. Yeah.
the main thing to get across then, Belle, because obviously we are loving using your bits now. We really are, because we haven't had a chance now. The last little while, we've been really getting, you know, excited now, the different types. And so where are they available to buy? Is it all online, or how do we get them?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, asterhorse.com, and yeah, you'll see the bitting system, and there's a quiz as well on there to help you if you're a bit lost. We also have bit fitters around the UK as well, and a couple of retailers now, but we're still very, you know, new and young, so yeah, but it's growing very quickly.
Price range, just so that people know, like, where's a starter price, and you know, just again for people to get an idea, what sort of price point?
Yeah, so our sweet iron range sits around £90, and then the copper sits around 110, and the titanium sort of 120 plus, because you know, it's a more expensive metal.
Which is
know,
amazing, really, because you think about, you put this in every day, and
yeah,
it
exactly.
works. You're not having to chop and change, you know, so that's actually very good. And the technology, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that lasts, and it's going to last a long time. But the other thing I wanted to say is, a lot of people don't really know that they should actually look after their bits. So they keep them clean, keep them dry, keep them, you know, from the elements, because you want to look after it like you would look after anything else.
Yeah.
So to prolong its lifespan, basically, and you don't want to be riding in a dirty bit that's gonna, you know, rub on the lips.
Is there anything
like that
we should use, you know, on it? Because I know that there's some of the bits that we used, you had to put olive oil on them. Remember the leather type ones?
Yeah.
Is there anything that's good for those, or negative, or what would you suggest?
So just plain old water to clean it. Water, pat it dry, and then the sweet iron can have an oil every now and again, but the others don't need it.
And just like a vegetable-based oil?
Yeah, but olive oil.
Good, yeah. Okay, but naturally, they sweet iron do oxidize, don't they? They go like eventually a different color.
They do, yeah. So they will form a rust layer, but you want to make sure that they don't become sort of crusty. Yeah. So if that ever happens, you can actually dissolve it in Coke, or just give it a little file down.
Good to know. That's a good tip. You see, we're learning.
Yeah,
we're learning here all the time.
Yeah, It will generally only happen if you've left it sort of in the back of the tack cupboard for months and forgotten about it.
None of us would ever do that. Belle, thank you so much. It's been honestly, we could talk to you for hours about this. If anybody's looking for more information, we're going to put a link on the podcast to your website. And I'm sure you're also available if people want to have a chat or any queries about different bits on their horse. I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Lovely to talk to you and good luck.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Thank you very much.
All the best. Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
A huge thank you to Belle Palmer from Aster Bits for joining Joanne and Sameh for such an informative and thought-provoking conversation. This episode is a brilliant reminder that bitting should never be about a quick fix, but about understanding the horse, listening to how they feel, and choosing equipment that supports comfort, confidence, and correct training. To find out more about Aster Bits, their bitting system, and an online bit quiz, visit asterhorse.com. Thank you for listening to Show Jumping 101. Don't forget to follow the podcast for more conversations with riders, trainers, and experts from across the show jumping world.